More new research time, and this one aims to answer a question that you might have asked yourself as you prepare for your wondrous, whimsical, pizza-less adventure down the road known as weight loss. Of course, when people are losing weight, the hope is that most, if not all, the weight you lose comes from body fat, and as little as possible comes from your muscle gains. In the nutrition side, the goal, of course, is to sustain a calorie deficit, or eat fewer calories than you consume, while maintaining a decent amount of protein to spare muscle loss, as well as take advantage of the many other positives of protein intake. But the training portion is a bit more uncertain. We do know that during a cut, it is important to continue lifting weights to provide an ongoing muscle stimulus to fend off muscle loss. But how exactly should we train? One of the louder recommendations is that you should train less than you normally would. The rationale, if you train too hard, you won't be able to fully recover due to the lack of nutrients and energy since you're consuming fewer calories. But is this really the best option? Or is there something that mitigates muscle loss even better, or even completely prevents, or even help you gain muscle during a cut? Well, that's what this new study attempts to answer, and keyword is attempt, which I'll explain a bit later. This 2022 study is actually a systematic review analyzing 15 other studies investigating the effects of resistance training during a calorie deficit while maintaining moderate protein intake. 7 studies were on males, 7 on females, and 1 on both, all of them with resistance-trained participants. The researchers categorized the studies based on different degrees of volume. Volume, in its most fundamental definition, is the calculation of reps times sets times weights lifted. The categories were high volume training, reduced volume training, and progressive overload of volume over time. Progressive overload, in its most fundamental definition, is the gradual increase of various training factors, in this case, volume. Progressive overload is actually the hallmark of any effective training program. Foreshadowing. And now to the results. First, let's break it down based on sex differences. For females, the data does generally suggest that training with higher volumes is better than reduced volumes in terms of preserving or even increasing lean mass. For males, the data is kind of split. Reducing volume does seem to always lead to a loss of lean mass, but higher volumes generally led to losses as well. However, one common finding between females and males is that studies employing progressive overload over a period of time generally fared the best, resulting in lower losses of lean mass on average, with some cases even an increase in lean mass. Again, more so for females than males. But this is where the word attempt comes in, and also the reason why I like to put disclaimers in videos like this, where I remind all of you wonderful folks that this is only one study, thus we cannot draw any concrete conclusions based on its findings. The reason why this is only an attempt is that 1, this review only uses correlational evidence. The 15 studies, although did investigate the effects volume and cutting had on body mass, they themselves did not directly compare high versus low volume training in highly controlled trials. And 2, when it came to volume calculated, not all studies followed the same reps times sets times weight lifted calculation, which makes it hard to have a consistent definition of high and low volume between the studies. And the researchers did acknowledge this, stating that there is simply insufficient evidence to conclude that higher training volume is better to prevent the loss of lean mass. Now, I know all of this might make the research sound rather fruitless, but I think there's some good caveats here that we can apply to the bigger picture. For one, it at least challenges the belief that lesser volume is better on a cut than high volume, especially for females. Also, perhaps the most important finding in my opinion is that on a deficit, progressive overloading led to consistently better results. And again, progressive overload is the hallmark of any good resistance training program. So when asking, should you train differently during a cut, the likely answer is no, at least for you more lightly seasoned lifters. Whatever program you are doing during your maintenance and bulking phases, you might benefit from doing it during your cut as well, with maybe a bit of tinkering on your recovery and deload management. For beginners though, chuck all you just heard in this video out the window because none of this really applies. Since training is still a very new stimulus, your sensitivity to virtually any consistent resistance training can help prevent or even help you gain muscle even during a cut. Your focus should simply be making sure you train regularly, stay in a deficit, and of course, get enough protein. Again, the findings weren't the best, but we did get some good chicken nuggets out of it. Also, it's always good to acknowledge data like this in hopes that researchers in the future become interested in looking into more concrete data. And that's the beauty of science. And if you beautiful people enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it an overloading thumbs up and share it with your calorie-loving friends. Subscribe for more. As always, thank you for watching, and don't forget to get your protein.